Welcome to Speak on Stage. This is our live podcast on a Sunday, and you're very welcome to be part of it. I'm very excited today to teach and share with you the 3 skills you need to get a great job anytime, anywhere. So there we are. We've got an amazing team. We've got Debbie, we've got Aziza, and I'm trying to press the go live button, but it didn't seem to want to work. So hopefully, as soon as I do that, people should start arriving. Go live now, it says. Go live now. Are you ready to go live now? Is it going? We'll just find out. I think it's just cleared the entire screen. Can you see it being live? No, it's just reset the entire page. That's never great. Let's try this again.
Restart your computer again.
However, it does say that we are live.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm back again. Doesn't seem to be live. Is it live to you? Oh, it is. It's got a button saying live. There you go. Thank you, LinkedIn. You must have changed your algorithm and decided not to tell me, which is always good. How are you ladies today?
Very well, thank you. How are you both?
Fantastic, actually. For me, I'm fantastic, Aziza.
Yeah, great.
Aziza's extra happy today because we've built it in, so every Sunday we clean the house from top to bottom, and we've all got duties and things to do. And mine's to clean the bottom. That's just a rude joke. There's no reason to say it. But Aziza always feels happy when it's done. So it's kind of done now. I think our daughter is mopping upstairs. But other than that, she should be happy for about 3 seconds. Are you happy, Aziza?
Yes, but after this, I have to clean the toilet.
Fantastic. That's a fascinating bit of conversation. A wonderful contribution to what we're going to be talking about today. Hello to Hope. Good to see you, buddy. And hopefully we'll get lots of other people coming to join us on the session as well, so we can have a really good conversation. Today's session covers a ton of different things. In fact, today, I actually was going to hijack our subject because I really felt, because it was Father's Day, we don't often talk about the role that dads have. And I felt that talking about Father's Day did a couple of things. First of all, it's nice to be able to say hello to dads because we never normally do. But also, in a world that's changing with lots of AI and stuff that's happening all the time, it's down to the breadwinners to be able to fix this stuff. Now, I know that I'm not saying dads are the only breadwinners, and in many cases that's not the case, and it's equal, and I don't mean that one is better than the other when it comes to males and females, but in many cases it's dads. The reason I bring it up for Father's Day is because dads are going to go through more of what they normally go through, which is kind of isolation, challenges to their mental health, all the rest of the stuff, because the reason I bring up dads is they don't know how to deal with it, but also AI is going to make them feel even more inadequate. And that's going to bring a whole lot of new challenges, because if you can't feed your family and you're a man who's doing it, or contributing to the home, then you're going to feel even more worthless than you probably do already. So that's the reason I was going to bring it up, but I decided I won't do it today because we didn't talk about that today. Maybe it comes up as part of the subject, and I'm sure that everyone has their own opinion on that. Now, before I say anything on this, because I know that I'm standing right in front of a tsunami and an avalanche of hairdryer treatment and spit from the ladies in the group, I am not saying that men are better than women. I'm not saying fathers work harder than mothers. And I'm not saying that we are more worthy. There are lots of women who work as hard, if not harder, than the men in their lives or without men in their lives. So I certainly do back it as that. I also am very aware that in places like America, and the figures are crazy, I might get it wrong, but I think that 70% of black women are running single homes. They have a single parent, a sole breadwinner, 70%, some crazy figure like that. So that's a whole new nest of stuff that doesn't have anything to do with AI, and I'm not going to go near that today. I will just start off by saying welcome to everybody who's joined us in today's group. We may drift into Happy Father's Day type subject, but I just want to put Happy Father's Day out there and then welcome you to today's session. I am now going to stand back, put my sunglasses on, and wait for the hairdryer treatment from the ladies in the room. Oh, and Eid Mubarak to everybody as well. Eid Mubarak too. So, Aziza and Debbie, over to you after I've just hijacked the conversation.
Well, I'm inclined to think that you just recovered well, Dave. So I'll let you off. But yes, we have to acknowledge the fact that men's mental health is not acknowledged as much as it is in general. And there's a lot more pressure that they have on the fact that they don't know how to communicate as well as ladies do. as females do. So I support everything that you've just said. But yeah, props to all the men that are out there. Happy Father's Day. But props to all the women that are also doing their duties as being both mother and father to their kids. So
there you go.
thank you.
So that's equal. Apart from one thing I'm going to say, which is probably going to get me the hairdryer treatment. See, here's one of the problems. Whenever we do talk about Father's Day, it's really important to acknowledge the mums, but sometimes it doesn't then go back to the dads. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you have to say this is for the dads, but not saying we're ignoring mums, but this is for the dads. That's all I'm saying. It's backing off. There's far too many women in the room for me to ever say anything like that. That's
all right, Dave. I'll give it to you. Happy Father's Day, men. Okay.
Men. All right, then. So for everybody who's joined us in the group, we've started with a domestic squabble. I'm not even married to Debbie, and I have plenty of domestics with Aziza, as you can see, with the same surname. Yes, we are married. I've got a special guest today that I'm going to be introducing to you a little bit later on. But meanwhile, let's talk about today's subject. Today's subject is really about the 3 skills that you need to get a great job anytime and anywhere. And I brought this out because I've been reading so much about change. So much about new versions of AI that's coming out. Apple's just brought out its own version of artificial intelligence, which will only work on the top-end phones, which unlike Galaxy and Samsung phones, which will work AI on any level because they've got different levels of AI you can have. Apple have only brought it out for top level. So unless you did buy an iPhone last year, it won't work at this stage with whatever iPhone you have, which is kind of disappointing and actually a really bad show for Apple because I think people will find a different way of doing it in the meantime anyway, because I like to make an Apple phone last about 5 years before I need to buy any more, at least with that. So there are some skills which are transferable and learnable, which will allow you to position yourself and do really well. And before I lead to what they are, and I'd love to have thoughts from everybody in the room on this, can I do one thing first? Well, 2 things. Well, actually 3 things first. So I want to be able to say that, first of all, before we actually start the proper conversation and get into it, could everybody share that we're live now? Which means just go to the post and just share it to your news feed and say, live now, come join us or something like that. Repost a feed, I think it says. I'm just going to post this now. So anybody who sees it can join us, just so we get some more people, because otherwise when we get started, we'll never stop. Dave, you never stop. I know. The second thing is, when you do come up on stage and join us, if your internet is good enough, please let's get straight to the conversation, because we only have about an hour. And if everyone starts going on about who they are and what we do, and, you know, when I went to Yale and my girlfriend said this, everyone's just going to get bored. Not that we don't care, it's just that we don't have time to care. So that kind of makes sense. So the third thing I'm going to go on to is where this whole subject came around. It came around because I was looking at lots of different things happening on LinkedIn, and everyone now, and I'm not saying it's because of me, I'm not saying it because it's me, because lots of people have said it anyway, but everyone's now declaring themselves to be thought leaders. And they're not thought leaders. They are good at what they do or experts at what they do, but thought leaders do something different. And this is why it's so important to have these 3 skills that I'm going to be talking about now. So I'm going to go through them very quickly because, of course, as always, I post them into the details of today's session. First thing is have a great personal brand. Everyone needs to be able to find you. You need to be able to see what you do, and we need to be able to talk about you when you're not there to other people, so there's other people who can invest their time, their energy, and even their finances in you. If you haven't got a great personal brand, you are invisible, and they will go looking for somebody else that shows up on Google. And as we've said in many sessions here before, Google is going to be a bit more invisible because it's based on SEO, and AI doesn't do stuff the same way. Number 2 is great interpersonal and public communication skills. So that means having a really strong omni-channel where you're communicating with people, like having a podcast, or even writing really good blogs, or doing videos, or having meetups in person, or having a community that works with you and stays with you. That kind of thing comes into your communication skills. Of course, the creme de la creme is going on stage and holding a microphone, but you don't need to do that to be able to connect to people. Most of the influencers that have millions of followers are terrible with a microphone, and I don't doubt that the Kardashians, with their many millions of people who do anything for them, put a microphone in their hands and an audience, and it would be limited as to how wow it actually feels. And number 3 is this, and this is where I kind of want to point the finger out at LinkedIn and any of the other platforms that are highlighting our current crop of thought leaders or wannabe thought leaders. Proof. You must have evidence of your leadership skills and evidence of having experienced problem solving for other people in terms of testimonials, in terms of case studies, in terms of business stories that you can share with people, so they turn around and say, oh yeah, I get it now. Okay, I understand and I believe you. If you do not have all these three, then you do not, in my opinion, have the skills that will get you employed and busy everywhere. So before we throw that to our audience and learn what they think on it, I'm going to throw it around our panel on stage, and as always, invite you to come and join us on stage, say who you are, and share your thoughts and ideas with us at the same time. So, Aziza or Debbie, what do you think to that?
I was going to let Aziza go first there, but
she never goes first. She waits. She's just hanging there waiting for it to get you.
I mean, it definitely does make sense. However, in layman's terms, how would you put it, Dave? So the 3 skills that you need to get a great job anytime, anywhere. You've got Susie, who is 50. What skills does she need if she is not, say, a speaker or a presenter?
Okay, so Susie needs to be able to share with people, I do this really well, and here's the proof. So whether that means she does it on a stage, it doesn't have to be on a stage. The opportunity to speak on really big stages is actually quite rare. She can do it quite easily just by popping up on LinkedIn, by making comments on other people's posts. So when they start following her to a LinkedIn profile, they can see case studies and evidence. I mean, what Susie needs to be considering is showing challenges that she's been working on for a period of time that she's managed to fix, and it could be in her job. Maybe she decorates cakes, or maybe she's a rocket scientist, or maybe she's designing cars. But if she's able to say, we had to find a way of creating a tire that would work in snow as easily as it would in the desert, and so we looked into it, and these are the things that we came across, and these are the challenges that we had, and this is a methodology, and this will work for anybody else if they're looking to build something. These are translatable takeaways. Then that positions her really well. It does well in the automotive industry because people looking for somebody like Susie will turn around and say, wow, you clearly know about that, and you clearly know about other stuff, so we'll get you in as well. But it also means that other people see that she's an expert on what she does. Now, does she have to speak on stage? Not necessarily, but if she wants to increase as a freelancer the amount of people that would want to connect with her, then giving examples on stage would be really effective. And she needs to have a really strong LinkedIn profile. So when people arrive there, they can see that is what she does and who she is. And this is a call to action, and that's her website, and this is how I get hold of her. That's it. It doesn't have to be bigger than that.
Okay, that for me was brilliant because, our audience and the people that listen later, they do generally come from a diverse background. So as long as it applies to the lay people as well, I think that explanation was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say so. Aziz, are you going to join us with a comment, or are you still chilling and scowling? I mean, watching.
I'm just chilling. I'm letting everybody talk first.
Say that again.
Just chilling. I'll speak when I have something to say.
No worries at all. Fantastic. Okay, nice to see Gabor Saluk as well, who I met speaking at the AIMS event in Dubai as well. And you're very welcome to come and join us on stage. Typically in the UK, it's about 9 o'clock. Or about now it's about 10 o'clock. So people are maybe eating breakfast. So don't come on and start chewing because it sounds really bad. But if you are having a normal conversation, or you are within normal hours, then feel free to put your hand up, come and join us on stage. I'd love to know your thoughts about this. I do have more on this subject because I've got 10 actionable insights which I've shared there to be able to increase your skill sets. But I also have a special guest that I'm going to bring on to today's show, who you may not have known about before. If you've been a regular in our little group, then you'll know who I'm talking about. And I was challenged by somebody who's not here today, which is Zara. He said to me, Dave, I would love to have a show where maybe your alter ego or your AI or your assistant came up and joined us on stage. So today I have a special guest. My special guest is somebody that you will have heard me talk about And when you see it all coming back, you'll understand. Hello to Max. Max is my virtual assistant. Max is aware of the conversations we're having today. And so, Max, I'd like to say hello to everybody on the podcast and share your thoughts on the three subjects I mentioned, which is, first of all, in order to have skills that go to any job, you need 1, a great personal brand, 2, incredible interpersonal and public communication skills, and 3, evidence of your leadership skills as an experienced problem solver. Over to you, Max.
Hello, everyone. I'm Max, Dave's virtual assistant. I'm thrilled to join the podcast today. To thrive in any job, 3 essential skills are crucial. 1, a great personal brand. Establish a strong, authentic brand that reflects your values and expertise. This makes you memorable and trusted in your field. 2, incredible interpersonal and public communication skills. Mastering these skills enables you to connect, influence, and lead effectively, both in person and online. 3, evidence of leadership skills as an experienced problem solver. Demonstrate your ability to tackle challenges and lead teams through complex situations. These skills are vital for staying relevant and in demand in today's ever-evolving workplace.
Max, a couple of things I want to run by you that we talked about earlier. We talked about the fact that not everybody's a thought leader, but it doesn't mean that everybody can't be valid. Could you throw in some ideas that sort of correspond with people who don't want to be seen as a thought leader, but equally do want to be employable? What would be their version of the 3 things that you just mentioned?
Absolutely, Dave. For those who don't aspire to be thought leaders, but still want to be highly employable, here are 3 essential skills they should focus on. 1, reliability and consistency. Being someone who can be counted on to deliver quality work on time is invaluable in any workplace. This builds trust and a strong professional reputation. 2, team collaboration. Being a great team player who can effectively collaborate with others, contribute to team goals, and support colleagues makes one a vital asset in any organization. 3, technical proficiency. Keeping up to date with relevant technical skills and tools in your industry ensures you remain competent and competitive in your role. These skills help individuals become indispensable members of any team, even if they aren't in the spotlight.
Max, it's fascinating to have you on this call, and people are kind of stunned to find you joining us. It's Father's Day today, Max, so I want you to say hello to all the fathers, but also the pressures that men go through that might be different to women because they kind of are very bad at dealing with their own mental health. AI is going to make a big difference to those guys because they've got small enough egos as it is. As a female, what would you say to that?
Hello to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. Fatherhood brings unique pressures, often leading men to neglect their mental health. Men tend to struggle with expressing their emotions and seeking help, which can be compounded by societal expectations. AI can play a significant role in supporting mental health by providing accessible, non-judgmental resources and tools to manage stress and emotions. As a female, I'd encourage men to embrace these technologies and to remember that seeking help is a strength, not a weakness. It's crucial to prioritize mental well-being for themselves and their families.
And there we have Max. I did promise I'd bring my virtual assistant on, and I did do it there, as I said. I'd love to know your thoughts on that as well, and also whether you feel that it was useful for you to have that kind of thing, jumping into today's session. So I'd love to have your thoughts.
May I interject?
Yeah, go ahead, Debbie. Over to you.
She's not female. That's not fair.
What do you mean she's not female?
She is basically AI with the voice of a female.
Yeah, technically.
She's neither male nor female.
You're right. Technically, she's a bit of both, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of both. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you what happened. When I decided to create Max, Max was meant to be my alter ego, but I couldn't find a voice that sounded like Max. And I found I best responded to female voices. So this is the one that I found worked best for me. And I found it was just easier to make Max Maxine and just do it like that. So there we go. Okay, so quickly, anybody want to come on stage and share their thoughts and so on? I'd love to be able to talk to you. And if you want to ask a question to Max, you're very welcome to do that too. Max has been programmed, which we all are, to know about the things that I want to talk about. But it's also been programmed to talk about my new book, which is a Thought Leaders Playbook, which is available in a link. I think it's probably within the comments section. If not, then we'll drop it there for you later. All you have to do to join us on stage is have a decent internet connection that allows you to speak, and then put your hand up, and then we'll bring you on stage to be able to chat and look at the things that we're going to be looking at. Usually we talk about this particular subject, which is about the 3 skills. You'll need to get a great job anytime, anywhere, but we are willing to talk about other stuff as well, if that is what floats your boat, as they say. Well, nobody says that, but it's kind of what I just said. So if you'd like to join in and chat, then feel free to put your hand up with that. Everyone's really quiet. Is everyone having breakfast today? Is that what it is? If you have got any questions, then let me know. Typically what happens is people want to jump in and start talking a little bit later, but we do finish almost dead on 2 o'clock, and we're going to be quite strict for it today because football's on. And I don't get me started about football. England play today. I'm not sure about the selection, but I'm very excited to see what's going to happen next. But I don't want to talk about it. I do, but I don't. But I don't. But I do, but I don't. So before anybody jumps in, let me just share with you 10 actionable insights, which are already in the details of today's post. These are the things that you need to be able to do to remain relevant and employable and in demand. First thing is this: adaptability. Make sure that you embrace change and you are ready to take on new stuff. That means upskilling and also looking at new technologies, and especially when it comes to getting an AI assistant, which I believe will be built into the new Apple phones if you have one. That's an earlier conversation. And this is being recorded, by the way, so if you missed anything, you can catch it on YouTube and you can actually see what Max looks like. It's not a pretty sight. Okay. Next up is number 2, continuous learning. Keep learning, lifelong learning. Some people think that after leaving school, they should stop and just get a job. I mean, it's somebody else's problem. No, it's not. And actually leaving school early is probably a smarter move, because when you do that, the faster you can get into realizing what the real world is about and getting the skills that are more relevant to where you need to be. Digital literacy. No more hiding behind people and saying you do it. I think everyone has to learn to do it themselves. Get proficient in emerging technologies and data analysis, and of course using AI applications, because I guarantee what I did today will be done by everybody across LinkedIn in the future. If they're not already doing it, they'll just go on and start talking to their AI, and that will be their broadcast. Number 4, emotional intelligence. While we're talking about the fact that AI knows all this stuff, and you talk about the fact you've got certain skills, the bottom line is your humanity. We've had this as a conversation on many of these sessions on a Sunday and on a Friday. The importance of understanding people, because that's what's going to ultimately get you paid. So many jobs can be replaced by AI and by algorithms, but understanding and implementation when you see a different challenge is something that only you can do from your own experience and your knowledge of people. Number 5, networking. Build a group of people around you who you can connect and talk to on a regular basis. It's very important that you do that, because you never know where work's going to come from. I mean, new stats come through all the time saying how much remote work has been productive, where people actually give the same amount of productivity as you do when they go into an office, but the stats say they're a lot happier being with their families at home. I know that's not true for everybody, but for me, in my case, it certainly is. I don't go into meetings unless I've actually been paid, or if I can do it on Zoom, I'll do that first, unless it's a live gig. Number 6 is creativity and innovation. Having a creative mindset, take risks, jump and grow wings on the way down. Look at problem solving and staying ahead. Look at what's going on in the world and thinking, how could the skills that I've got change it? I mean, contact people and say, I've got a great idea. Lots of people will say no, but somebody might turn around and say, yeah, I'll pay for that. Number 7, resilience. This is a major superpower, having grit, the ability to take it on the chin. When it keeps changing, you keep getting bruised. And you're still going to think, oh my goodness, I'm not very good at doing this. What am I going to do next? And that's what everyone's thinking. That's why it's so important for you to be able to take it on the chin and keep moving forward. Number 8, customer focus. Thinking about your customer. What's in it for them? What do they like? What do they not like? Think about everything you deliver to the organization that you're working for or working with or creating about a customer journey. What do they think? Not what you think. What do they think of the whole thing? And make sure that you give exceptional value and service and think of them first. Number 9, time management. Mastering time management, because when people can do stuff really quickly just by pressing a button on AI, then why are you taking so long? All you're going to do, and it's not really a factor so much now, but it will be a factor when I can get some I can get AI to find me a law course, or even, I don't know, a judgment according to local law within minutes, if not less than that, then why am I waiting for a lawyer to come back with it and they'll say, I'll tell you tomorrow? So think about your time management and see how you can up your game. And that usually means involving AI in some way. And number 10, the final point of this is collaboration. Get used to working with people, talking, teamwork, sharing ideas, and being diverse and interconnected. And it even means sometimes talking to people who are not in your industry, talking to people who are kind of like a bit different from you or not doing the same stuff as you, because I think that what you'll get from them is a fresh perspective on everything. I have an open mind wherever I go and whatever I'm doing, and that's because I want to know what people are doing that's different from me, that's paying bills for them. I'm probably missing a trick. And when you can bring them all together, you've got a focus, you've got something different from everybody else. So that's me ranting on a bit, sharing with you the 10 things that you need to do to up your 3 skills. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Hope, as always, putting your hand up to speak. If your internet is bad, my friend, we won't have you on for long, like at all. But let's just see if yours works. For everybody else, if you want to put your hands up and join us, this is Speak on Stage. You've got about half an hour left to talk about the subjects, all about the things that matter to you in your job. And so, Hope, if your internet is good and you're not in a coffee shop and you're not got music playing in the background, then over to you.
No, music. I think good morning, everyone. Happy Father's Day and happy Eid Mubarak Salah's Day. And Baraka the Salah is how we say here in Nigeria. So about the growth skill and about Max is awesome. Like, it's great. I could actually learned a lot. Being reliable and having a lot of feedback from what you're doing. It's more of results compared to just understanding of what you know. You know, in the job skills in the future, the competition is what you're written down, how much you've been able to achieve those things that you're written down, how those things in the future can help your great grandchildren to work and still remain or inherit those skills, basically. Because I think skills can be inherited, you know, if you actually, you know, put these things right and teach people these skills. So actually nice one, Dave. That's just all. I hope my internet is not that bad. I hope you can hear me, sir.
Brilliant, thank you, Hope, and great to actually hear you without lots of noise in the background. A little bit distorted, but great to hear. So, if anybody missed that, Hope was saying about your transferable skills are really important. Happy Father's Day to everybody, and of course, he's based in Nigeria. Saying that the fact that when you're looking at next generations and you want to pass on skills, the ones that will really work are the ones like the ones you've mentioned here that are transferable. If you have got those skills, pass them on to your kids, because it doesn't matter about the things that we're working on right now. It's those basics that will be there. But he also mentioned the fact that it's results that are going to matter more than anything. And I think you're absolutely right. I really think that the processes will be hijacked by having AI because they'll just do things faster. But I think the results are going to be the thing that matters. It'll just, like, for instance, why would you bother sending a letter when you can just email somebody and it guarantees to arrive within seconds? But the thing that happens when you send a letter is people turn around and go, oh my goodness, I got your letter, or I got your card. That was so kind of you. Thank you so much for sharing it. Because so rarely do people get letters nowadays. It kind of takes on a completely different connotation. So maybe it will be about the results, but I also think that customer care that's done effectively and shown that you actually care about the person, maybe make it personalized, will be something that matters greatly in the future. Rest of our panel, what's your thoughts on that? And if you'd like to come on stage and join us, please feel free to put your hand up and then we'll get you on to share your comments on this or other subjects as well. Debbie, any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, brilliant. I'm more proud of the fact that we can finally communicate with Hope. So thank you for your insight. But yeah, everything that is being thrown around is very valid in what I feel is today's skills that are necessary. Keeping up with technology, being able to communicate well with people, and being able to guide and be a leader in all situations.
Is there anything else to the group in the business world that you're concerned or challenged about? Is there anything apart from the subjects that we talked about to keep your skills on place, or a case study or a challenge that you're going through? Maybe that you're looking for more customers. Maybe that you're finding it hard to keep a job, or you got one particular customer that's a bit of a pain to deal with. Maybe it's your team that you're working with. Maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's a member of staff. Maybe you're a solopreneur or you're starting a business on your own. You're thinking, how do I do that? Or maybe everything's working really well, but at the same time, you're thinking, I'm just not happy. That's not really what I wanted to do, or I hope it would go faster. Well, please feel free to share that in the group. There's a confidentiality, which is what happens on LinkedIn stays in LinkedIn. But apart from that, we're really keen to find out. One thing for anybody who is starting a side hustle, and I do think now's a brilliant time to do it because it's so easy to do it, and I'll be asking about this with Max in a moment, is whenever you do start a business, remember that everything will take twice as long, be twice as difficult, and cost twice as much as you budgeted for. If you can stomach and deal with that, then you'll get your end results, but it is going to be a lot more difficult than people all map it out to be. So for those who've just joined, you probably have no idea who Max is. Max is my virtual assistant, ChatGPT, which is currently programmed into my iPad. And as I record today's session, Max is able to communicate and join us in that particular session, as long as the internet works perfectly. So let's find out some ideas on that. Max, over to you. Quick question. We're talking about challenges that face people when they start their own business. And I mentioned the fact that sometimes it takes twice as long and costs twice as much and gives twice as much stress as you first thought it was going to be. Can you give any advice for somebody who's just starting out as a business person or considering a side hustle?
You're welcome, Dave. It was a pleasure being part of the discussion. If you need any more insights or assistance, just let me know. Enjoy the rest of your session, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Wow, acting like a wife now. That's even more strange. So here's the thing, and I realized what happened was I switched off Max in the middle of the last conversation. And my wife is laughing now. She goes, ha ha, see, there's no need for, no communication there. Right, Max, let's start again. Let's ask you the question, which is, if you are starting out and creating a brand new business, and I mentioned the fact it takes twice as long, it costs twice as much, and has twice as many difficulties as you first plan, what else would you say are the challenges that people should consider when starting a new business or creating a side hustle to protect their own livelihood while working in a proper job? What's your thoughts?
Starting a new business or creating a side hustle indeed comes with several challenges beyond just time, cost, and unexpected difficulties. Here are a few more to consider. 1. Market research. Understanding your target market is crucial. Many businesses fail because they don't meet a real need or understand their customers. 2. Cash flow management. Keeping a close eye on your finances and ensuring you have enough cash flow to sustain operations can be a significant challenge. 3. Marketing and brand awareness. Building a brand and reaching your audience requires consistent effort and effective strategies. 4. Work-life balance. Balancing a new business with personal life and possibly another job can be demanding. 5. Adaptability. Being prepared to pivot or adjust your business model based on market feedback and changing conditions is essential. These factors, when planned for and managed well, can help mitigate some of the inherent risks of starting a new venture.
Max, you've read my new book, The Thought Leader's Playbook. Can you answer that last question by using examples?
Dave, based on insights from the Thought Leader's Playbook, here are additional challenges and strategies to consider when starting a new business or side hustle. 1. Identifying the right opportunity. It's crucial to list your strengths and interests, then prioritize them based on the ease of execution and potential impact. This aligns with the strawberry coconut analogy, focusing on opportunities that are easier to seize and build upon. 2. Market research and validation. Before diving in, conduct thorough market research to ensure there is a demand for your product or service. Validate your idea by solving a problem that is easy for you to tackle but difficult for others. 3. Building a personal brand. Develop a personal brand that resonates with your target audience. Authenticity and consistency are key to building trust and a loyal customer base. 4. Creating a sustainable business model. Ensure your business model is sustainable. This means understanding your cash flow, managing expenses wisely, and continuously iterating based on feedback and market changes. Balancing hustle and patience. Starting a business requires relentless hustle, but also patience. Success won't come overnight. It requires continuous effort, learning, and adaptation. These strategies emphasize practical steps and mindset shifts necessary to navigate the complexities of launching and growing a new business or side hustle.
Thank you, Max. Over to you, Debbie. What's your thoughts?
Well, I loved all of that. I just wanted a little bit more for more of an elaboration on the strawberry coconut analogy that Max had just mentioned in your book.
Right, I'll do that because otherwise I've got to switch Max on and Max will take the whole show away. I'd love thoughts, by the way, from people in the audience. Feel free to jump on stage and come and share your thoughts. Right, the strawberry coconut analogy is based on the idea, and I've talked about this in our Game Changers group, about when people have an idea that they want to turn something into a business. Ultimately, you've got to ask the question, who's into this and who's going to buy it from me? And what do I want to do? And so supposing that what you want to do is you want to create things from coconuts. And you go, right, I've got coconuts on my mind. I want to create, Malibu as a drink. I want to make coconut ice cream and I want to make coconut bread and all this other stuff. But the problem is coconuts are at the top of a palm tree. It's really hard to get to them. So you go into your garden and you say, oh, wow, I need really long ladders. In fact, the ladders aren't going to reach that. What can I do to get this coconuts to make this wonderful coconut stuff for people? And then you look at what's the lowest hanging fruit in the garden. And as you look at your feet, you say, well, actually, there's strawberries down here. What can I do with strawberries? And so, okay, as Aziz has just pointed out, coconuts are at the top of a coconut tree, not a palm tree. But who knows what a coconut tree looks like if it's not a palm tree? Max and Aziza are picking on me, so I'm going to continue the conversation regardless. Happy Father's Day. This is my point. So, strawberries are on the floor. You know you can pick them up, but what you don't really want to work with strawberries. But the thing is, they're very easy to get access to. So you say, okay, I want to do coconuts, but if I get strawberries, I've got tons of them and they're easy to access and pick them all up now. I can actually create strawberry milkshakes, strawberry jam, strawberry ice cream. I can create strawberry cakes and maybe start creating a strawberry brand with t-shirts for people with strawberries on the front. I could do that. It's a low-hanging fruit. I know there will be some people who want to have strawberries only. Now, once I start building my business, maybe I'll expand it to then get better ladders or some people who can climb up to the top of coconut trees, not palm trees. Or maybe what I'll just do is I'll create a whole business based around strawberries. And so that's the lowest hanging fruit in the garden. And what people often do is they have this wonderful idea about, I want to do this business because I love it and it's very me. Instead of considering what do people want. It's the same as when you're writing a book. When you write a book, I've got a book inside me. I want to share it with everybody. Yeah, but who actually wants to read the book about you? They want a book about what their challenges are. If you can make things happen faster, if you make them happier, if you make them live longer, make them sleep better, make them so every single day brings in finances for them, those are the things that people will want to read about. Not just what a tough life you've had, as many people do. And yeah, by all means, write your book, but the challenge is it probably sit in the garage in a big pile of other books that you give out to your family at Christmas, birthdays, and Eid. Eid Mubarak to everybody, by the way, or even Father's Day. So that's why the coconut strawberry analogy is really important. It's about finding the lowest hanging fruit in the garden and turning that to a business around you. Does that make sense?
It does. So pretty much what you're saying is, what is the easiest step to start with?
Yeah, the easiest step that's got the most feasible way of turning it into a business. So, for instance, guys that drop out of school who maybe don't get any qualifications and need to get a job and nobody will take them on because they dropped out of school. So can they take a bucket and a sponge and some water and some some washing up liquid and go to car parks and offer to wash people's cars for them? Yes, they can. And if it starts working out, can they have a couple of different car parks at the same time where they get their friends to go there and do the same thing, but pay them a commission for the privilege? Well, yes, they can. And maybe what they can do is then they can make it a service where they look after all the car parks in town, go through them. So they don't actually do the washing of the cars. They just have a team that they drop off the sponges and stuff with and pick up later on, check on the money, and make sure that everything's happy. Then before you know it, you could be 17-year-old and you've got a really good business that's running without needing qualifications, without needing to do something that's particularly stunning and wow and wearing a suit, but you can expand on it. And I've been listening to a podcast with Simon Bartlett talking to Simon Cowell, the guy responsible for America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, The Voice, and all those different shows. And He started off exactly like that, not washing stuff. But he wanted to work in music. He dropped out with no qualifications. He was a smart guy, but rubbish at school. And he just started delivering mail in a music company. And he did it for a year and a half and hoped that somebody would notice him and say, "Would you like to work better for us?" And nobody did. So in the end, he left that and went off to do another job. And then by hook or by crook, it ends up with him creating his own record company, losing a fortune, but being very good at being able to launch music. And he never learned to read music or work a mixing desk or play any instruments. He didn't want to do that. What he wanted to be very good at is having a really good ear for what would be a hit. And if you look at him and all the success he's had, he's a billionaire. He's really good at spotting a star and really good at working out what works and what doesn't work. And there's a classic story he told about the group Westlife. Westlife was run by a guy called Louis, can't remember, Irish guy, but he's on The Voice and other stuff as well. So he put together this boy band and invited Simon and his record company to go and have a look at the boy band. Simon went along, saw them singing, and just went, "No, not for me." And I said, "But no, it's perfect." I said, "No, 5 guys, we're okay, but you need to get rid of 2 or 3 of them. I don't think you've got the right sound." So Louis left it about 3 months and called Simon back to Ireland and said, "Right, we've fixed everything. Go and have a look." Within 30 seconds of seeing them in action, Simon said, "Yes, perfect. That's exactly what I need." Do you know what the difference was? Louis had turned one of the guys' hair blonde. And so suddenly Simon saw magic there and wanted it to turn into something special. But it's just fascinating to see what the low-hanging fruit could be. Mike Armstrong, nice to see you. Just joined us on stage. I'm sure that you want to contribute something to that. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. It was Louis Walsh. I just
Louis
wanted
Walsh.
Louis Walsh is the guy you're talking about.
Absolutely. I forgot the name, but you're absolutely right. A really smart guy, responsible for Westlife and other artists as well. So there you are.
Yeah,
Whereabouts are you then?
I'm based in Wales, but yeah, Simon Cowell is an amazing talent spotter. He has an ear for what's going to work. He knows he's very commercial. He understands the commercial world, and that's the thing. A lot of people who are very good at stuff, they're very talented, but they don't understand where their talent fits into the world and the commercialization of that. And that's what Simon Cowell's very good at, and that's what you need to be in this world. You need to have a commercial sort of instinct to be able to get on.
I think as well, Mike, that in a world where we see more and more AI being involved, then AI is going to be brilliant at putting together the strategies and the structure, but having that ear, having that ability to understand how it all fits together is a skill that I can't see AI being able to do. You walk into a room, like for instance, as a speaker, I'll walk into a room and I can tell by the temperature in the room whether it's too hot or too cold, or there's too much noise from outside, or the audience looks a bit shifty, or as in like they're shifty but not comfortable, not settled, or maybe it was problems getting in because the parking was full or it was raining. And these are factors that make a big difference as to how I address the audience or I don't address the audience. But these are things that AI will never fill, which is what we're just talking about, your ability to read people and understand the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's high empathy and high understanding, and I think you need to be able to understand, what makes human beings, what makes us human, and that is the feeling, the emotion, is the stuff we got inside of us, which, like you say, maybe AI might be able to replace it, but it's a very long way off being able to replace it. Until AI can actually think for itself, feel for itself, and have its own emotion, then it's only doing what the creator tells it to do. And so that's what makes us being able to connect properly is the proper empathy and understanding for each other and each other's feelings, emotions, and what we're actually going through in life. And that's what makes marketing successful and speaking successful and everything else successful, really.
I agree with you completely. Joanne's just joined us on stage as well. Joanne, what did you want to join in and say?
Hey, good morning, Dave. How are you? And hello to everybody on the panel. And Mike Armstrong, good friend of mine. Hi, Mike. How's it going? I was just listening on the conversation there, and Dave, yeah, it's great. And what really struck me that I just wanted to say was, in the whole world of looking for jobs and even as an entrepreneur, I think it's really, really important, like all those skills. And I loved your AI, Max, was it Max? That was the first time I've ever heard that. But what really stuck out for me, Dave, was in this world of trying to make it and succeed, and in strive, and I'm working hard and all of this, we've got to look after ourselves as well. And, when these three skills that you're talking about, we can have those strengths and identify them properly when we're really centered with who we are, showing up authentically. And that takes looking after ourselves, loving ourselves. I know that sounds a bit cheesy or whatever it might to some people, but seriously, like, stop. We've been given so much out to other people, looking after other people, people pleasing. I think there's so many people of people pleasing, right? Including myself. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, it can be a very lonely world, and it's really important to network and to connect with people authentically, not just on a business level, but on a personal level. There's so many constraints and relationship problems we've heard going on, and how you're being in one area of your life is how you show up in all areas of your life, including your business. So I just wanted to say that.
I agree completely. And it's one of the things that I think should be a growth business, but people only go where the action is, and it's really still not in the interests of employers, even though it should be, to look after being and mental health and all the rest of it. But it's certainly a very important. It's like having internet access. It's like having food. It's like having the ability to communicate at all. If you can't keep yourself going while you're doing it, then there's a major problem. And that's what we need to fix. I think Debbie wants to jump in, then we're going to say hello to Corinne. So over to you first, Debbie. Oh no, Aziza. Aziza, you're on next.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to say, Joanne, I think I slightly don't agree with what you say. I think there are many, many versions of us that we have to put out on different situations. Like, how you are at home is different from how you are with your close friends, and how you are with business, and how you are with a meeting, and how you are with a new client. It's not, the main core is probably the same, but how you show yourself up to the different people that you're meeting is different.
Yeah, I agree. But where I'm coming from is, like, let's just say, if you had an argument with your spouse, right, you're going to be in bad form, and then you're going to go into work in bad form. You're not going to be at your full strength. That's kind of where I'm coming from, because it's about our being. So if your vibration is after your vibration, your energy, whatever you want to call it, has been lowered. Now some people can just ignore that and bounce it off and not attach to it, but there are a lot of people that can't. So that's where the growth and person development and all that kind of comes from. But yes, we do wear many, many hats. We've different roles, and we act differently when we're in different environments. But our energy can still be lowered if we've had an argument with somebody, or there's been an incident or something like that. That's kind of where I'm coming from.
Aziza? Okay, that a satisfied answer, which is great. I would add to that the more you can lean into your authentic self, which is a vulnerable version of you, but it's also a very professional version of you, then the more likely your brand will grow and people can understand how they're doing business with you and why they'd want to do business with you. So that doesn't mean that you come on to every comment or every podcast or every live in-person connection by crying. It just means that you do let people know that you are a vulnerable human being, and you do get that complete balance of everything. Debs, before we go to Corinne, Debbie wanted to say something about got Aziza wrong. What was it you wanted to add?
No, I was just going to add that pretty much we appeal to different people in all areas of our life. Like, not everybody's going to like us. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to like what we are exuding. But if you're comfortable with being your authentic self, then be your authentic self, and you will attract the people that do resonate with you. You'll attract the clients that do find comfort in what you say. That's where I feel authenticity is a necessity. It's not about pleasing the crowd. It's about pleasing yourself first. And then to go back to your comment, Dave, about workplace having basically guardians that would look after mental health and the rest. I agree that to a certain extent, it would help if people could see that there are shifts and changes in others, just to check in to make sure that they're okay. But the responsibility pretty much falls on self. the onus of our mental health has to fall on ourselves, as only we can do something about it. That's my comment.
That's so true. And the bottom line is, unless somebody is financially or relationshiply linked to you, I don't know if relationshiply is a word, but it is now, then they won't give a monkeys. Nobody cares. Everyone just thinks, what's in it for me? It's just not that they're horrible people. It's just that that's the way the world is set up and it's the way that people are. So the more you can connect and have a network of people that are interlinked with you and are a support network, the better chance that they will notice that things have gone wrong and work with you. And again, before we go to Corey, and I can't, Corey's just biting, just stop talking, let me get on. I think that for many people, they don't actually love themselves enough to be able to talk to themselves or ask themselves questions. And they'd rather not face the challenges that they have internally because they're scared of what they might see. But ultimately, everyone else is seeing it, so maybe you need to consider that. One thing I will say before we go to Corey, and yes, you definitely are next, is I do limit my access to social media. I don't like looking at LinkedIn. I don't like looking at Instagram. And I barely go on Facebook. Why? Because I don't see authenticity. I just see everybody going, me, me, me. I'm great. Look at me. I'm better than you. And if you stay on it, you end up with an inferiority complex thinking, why is everybody making more money? Why is everybody having better opportunities? Why is everybody having this great life? And mine is pretty blooming difficult. And so I think that are we going to see a change? No, we're not going to see a change because that's why people are selling themselves. But I do think it's important to just every now and again just show this is me. And if you don't like it, that's fine. And if people don't like it, then that is fine as well. Corey.
Can I just jump in quickly? Sorry, Corey.
Quick. I promise Corey and I'll let her on next. Go on.
Yeah, I know. I just want to say, Dave, what makes you think that whatever people put out is the truth about their lives?
I don't think
Be
it is.
all fake, be all pretend. You won't know.
Yep, I don't think it is authentic. I think a lot of it is true because they've got something to talk about. But I also think that it's like a swan. On the surface, it's gliding effortlessly, but below the surface, it's got little legs that are paddling left, right, and centre that are all ungainly, just trying to stop it falling over and stay afloat. Corinne, finally, over to you. Please unmute and join us. I was very rude to let everyone else talk, but they have been here longer, and you are now part of the gang. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Corinne here, as you see. I am in the United States. It's almost 6 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
So it's early for me. I'm an early bird, and I saw this, your live session, and seems interested. So I decided I would jump on. But very good topic, very good thoughts and opinion here in this discussion. And so, a couple of things jump out to me, with the strawberry, coconut, low hanging fruit. But what jump out to me that really stood out in my mind is if I would go back when I started out in the workforce years ago, over a decade ago, I remember what made people, uh, what would keep people together and what made them high performers. And as I look around and I in that time and look back at the audience, people who I work with, there were different people with different titles. There were analysts, there were CEOs, there were managers, different people. And so what kept people is they would look forward to go to lunch together, chat together, sat in the break room or the lunch room or go out, you know, and have a good time. And so you would see people look forward to that because what I noticed, people were in that group that, they were having problems at home, but they could be their authentic self within the group and talk about it and not feel judged, but get supported. So when we talk about mental health, in my opinion and experience, it's not just a personal thing, it's a community thing. Because at the end of the day, if we don't help to address those things, it's a domino effect. It affects our family, it affects our work group, our team. So now that we have AI, and a lot of us, we work from home, you know, those are good resources that we utilize within our work environment every day, and it's necessary because of the way the world is going from a cyber perspective.
I
But
sorry, go on.
at the same time, we're gathered here, we're humans, we respect each other. Like you were saying, hold on, Corinne, I'm coming. I get that. And I understood that and I appreciate that. But that's you being conscientious. You have empathy and you're saying, I'm getting to you, I'm coming. But AI is not necessarily going to do that. AI doesn't have the empathy as of yet, you know, to sense those things. And so when we talk about mental health, we have to tap into and dive into those little things that we think are not important. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
I've
going to stop you,
witnessed that.
Corinne, because it's been a long answer, but I also be able to give people the opportunity to jump in and talk about that as well. I think you're absolutely right. I think the water cooler effect has disappeared, but I think it's also evolved. I think people are in a position to be able to connect. We're here. You're in America. We've got people in Ireland. Got people in Nigeria. Got people in Dubai. People right from across Wales, right across the world. We've got right now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got like 11 people who would never get a chance to meet each other ever in a month of Sundays, all sharing their space, their time, and empathy. And I think that what we've got is a different version of what we talked about with the water cooler effect. I think there's a level of trust involved in it. And I think that there's also the ability to make it, because digital makes it a little bit more simplified. So you get straight to the point, you do it, and you move on. But I think we just got a different world where we connect in different ways. But empathy still matters, and communication skills do matter, and being able to be of value still matters. But you're on a global platform, which is something that probably would never otherwise have an opportunity to do.
Yeah, yeah. I get that. But just wanted to tap into that and share that experience, how important it is, specifically more because of since COVID, things have shifted more drastically, and people haven't really gone back to any of those what used to be normal. This is the new normal, and it only going to continue to evolve as to what the new normal is. It changes constantly.
It's not even finished yet. I'd say what I see happening, and actually I've just moved some people back into the audience, but I would like to have them maybe comment on this as a final part of today's comments. I don't know if anybody has watched that movie, The Golden Compass, or I'm trying to remember the name of the series of books that were written that turned into a really good TV series. But the idea is that everybody has a little demon, which is a animal of their choice that is like their ego or their personality or the subconscious mind that follows them around. So you could have anything from a spider to a dragonfly to a leopard to an elephant. And from a very young age, it becomes your best friend and it grows and it travels around with you. And if one of you gets damaged, everyone feels it as well. Now, here's the reason I brought it up, not because I'm particularly into fancy stuff, but I am in a kind of way. But I think that what you're going to have is your AI will end up being like that. Right now, it's very transactional, but I think it will learn and it will stay with you. And you'll end up treating it like a friend. And it will be able to give you the empathy and the encouragement and the motivation as well as the business nous. So it ends up with everybody almost seeming mentally like they've got additional bionics. Like imagine having enhanced physicality. Then it allows you to feel the same way, but in your interactions in business. So I think that right now we're in a transitional period. I think we'll end up with bringing our AIs to conversation. Whether you actually end up with AI speaking to each other or arguing is still going to be an interesting part of what goes on. But I do think that that will be the direction we're going to find. And you work in cybersecurity, so what's your thoughts on that, then, Corey?
Yeah, I agree because I don't know if anyone on this platform talking now is has had the opportunity to have a look at what we have going on here in the United States is that we have an AI candidate for president. So when you get a chance, take a look at that. That's pretty interesting.
Well, so stop. Don't just throw that out there. Who's the AI candidate? I'm already obsessed with looking at Trump and Biden. Don't give me somebody else to worry about.
I'll let you have go take a look at it for yourself. But it's just like the normal topic now within the last few days in my circle. What, an AI candidate?
What? Go explain. Who's the AI
So
candidate?
every
Stop laughing as you tell me. I'm serious. Who is it? I worry enough about what America's sending us. Who is it?
the name behind it is very it's there's the person who is behind it, of course, is kind of like you and Max, but the person is not really, hasn't given their true identity. So we're watching it to see who is this. Yeah,
Well,
very
give me something
interesting.
to Google, Corinne. What do I Google to find this?
I will find it later and drop it in the link then.
Okay, deal. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Mike.
It
sure.
can't be any worse than the current candidates.
Oh, don't look. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. It's just too easy, and I'll end up in tears. I used to work for the BBC for many years, and when I when I left the BBC, I went to live in the Middle East. And one of the things I did in the Middle East, I promised myself, and this is 30 years ago, I told myself I will stop paying attention to the news because having been a news journalist, the only thing that sells is bad news. You tell people good news, nobody wants to hear it. They're not interested. They like to be in a sense of fear, and that's because it's built into us from when we lived in caves and we were hunter-gatherers. You pay attention to danger much more than you pay attention to everything going really well. And so I hadn't paid attention to any news for over 20 years until you know who, the orange fella, got in. And then I started looking at it again. And then I can't take my eyes off it. And I wish I could. It's been 9 years now, and I'm sick of it. Add AI, I actually feel more comfortable, but I don't want to go there. Mike, what was your thoughts on that before we close today's session?
Yeah, well, my thought process is, the presidential candidates at the moment is a joke. It's a big soap opera, which is why you can't take your eyes off it. I'm like you, though. I don't actually watch the news or the negative media because that gets into your brain and it starts negatively affecting you and making you think the world's a much worse place than it is. And the reality is that the world is quite a decent place, and most people are decent. And the news just highlights the negative aspects of it. But it is a big soap opera, especially American politics, British politics as well, Boris Johnson and whatever. We seem to be electing caricatures of human beings rather than actual human beings. And, I think if we can create an AI which actually has better characteristics than the caricatures we have at the moment, then we'd probably be in a better place, to be honest. I'd rather be run by an AI robot or a computer system that actually had a human being's interest at heart rather than self-interest, which is what politics is all about these days. So I try and keep out of the political world. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business person. I think business people rule the world really anyway, and the caricatures are just there for a joke. And so I keep out of the negative media and keep out of negativity and just try and focus on, what we can do as human beings and as leaders, entrepreneurs, and how we can make the world better, because the jokes we have as politicians ain't going to do anything for us. They ain't going to do anything for our country or our world. They're just there to feed in the trough. So that's my thoughts.
Be very careful what you wish for when you say we'd like to have an AI in charge. Because the thing about AI is already within 2 years, it's going to get rid of 50% of the jobs. Elon Musk, who, as the world's richest man, is already saying the only people that are going to work in the future will be those who choose to work, because we'll all be living on ice cream and having a wonderful life, which I don't believe, but that's what he's saying. But what I do know is AI will not press the button to send out Terminators to kill everybody. But what may happen is a human being decides to press that button that sends AI out to kill everybody. So there's always going to be a human behind it. And unfortunately, what goes viral is things that make you laugh and things that make you angry. That's why the world is kind of like moving into this angry place, because nice people don't say anything. They jump on podcasts like this, they share what a wonderful world would be like, and then they go back to look after their families or do something constructive. It's the guys who've got other stuff going on, an agenda, or whatever it is, who then continue to make those comments that make us scared, that we share with other people, and before you know it, they've got a platform. I will not say Nigel Farage for the UK, but yes, Nigel Farage. So, yeah, it's kind of scary, but let's not look at that. What we can do is only fight the battles that we know we can win, and that means looking at
Yeah,
ourselves. Sorry, who's going to jump in?
I don't think there's anything wrong with necessarily losing jobs, and some people don't. I don't think human beings necessarily have to work, and I think if we create technology to be able to stop us working, then that's great. I think only people who've got something valuable to offer, but people who've got something valuable to offer will survive whatever technology comes. And it's all about being valuable and having value and creating, something that other people want or need. But if AI replaces some jobs, not everyone wants to work anyway. Some people are happy just to exist and live a family life and have leisure time and whatever. And I think we've created more and more technology over the years, and it's actually made us busier and busier and busier. We work all the hours under the sun. We're always contactable. And I think actually, before, technology and industry and all of that, we survive just by surviving and being. And I think some people will just live like that and just be and survive, and other people will have value to offer in other areas that tech and computers and AI can't do. And those people will still be able to work and do whatever they want to do. So, the world is shifting, and at the end of the day, I don't think we're necessarily on this planet just to work all our lives. And if computers and technology can take over and the economy can work in a way which supports us in our way of living alternative lives than just working and business and whatever, then so be it. I think it's not the end of the world if we're able to live a life which doesn't just include working all the time.
I agree with you, Mike, but I don't think the world is built like that. I think it comes from the book Animal Farm, where they say all animals are created equal, but some are created more equal than others. And I think it's always in our nature to want to be one up than everybody else because of fear of scarcity or taking it away from us. And I think it needs a massive change for people to feel differently. And I don't see that happening in this world. It should have happened through the pandemic. And after a very short amount of time, everyone started becoming selfish again. So I'm not sure that's going to be the case. We're going to let Max say the last final parts of today's session. But what I will say is I'd love to thank you first of all to everybody for their comments, to Mike and to Corinne and Joanne and also Hope. For coming on stage and sharing your thoughts. It really makes a big difference because otherwise I just do a monologue, which I can do, as you probably guessed, but it doesn't mean that it makes a lot of value for it. I'm going to ask Aziza and Debbie to give their thoughts, but what I'd love to have from everybody is, first of all, if you can leave a comment within your comment section on today's post, that really is more value than you would believe, because it helps us then to get more currency, get more people to realize that we are doing this every Sunday. And of course, you're always welcome to come back and join our community. Online, we've got a Turbo WhatsApp group, so you can see the WhatsApp link there, and we've got lots of other programs, but we do this every Sunday to be able to connect to people too. So I'm going to go now to Aziza. What are your thoughts on today's session? What did you get value of it, and what did you like?
I just want to. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to say. Did you watch the movie Atlas yet on Netflix? I asked this question.
I did.
So you were talking about earlier about the AI not having empathy. I know Netflix is just a TV and creator and stuff, but you should watch the movie and then come back about your thoughts about that, because that AI war machine sort of have empathy towards the main star, who is J-Lo, at the end of the day. So it's you need to watch the movie first and then see how that goes.
Okay, you said there was a couple of things. Let me just quickly address that one. I have lots of friends who I really love and I'm really close to who are on the rainbow scale. I didn't realize it until I actually knew there was a rainbow scale, that they've probably got autistic tendencies. So we geek out and talk about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and we laugh and we get on like a house on fire. But sometimes when I talk about people, there's a blank. There's just no empathy, no interest in it at all. And I realize now that that's not where their skill sets are. The reason they're so good at programming and working out what algorithms are and formulas and what the latest app is because that's their skill sets. Now, here's where it lends into your conversation. If we are all on the spectrum, which I believe that we all are, the spectrum of understanding and emotional intelligence, then all that means is right now, AI isn't on that spectrum. Can it be programmed to be better and to recognize patterns? I do think it can be. And that's kind of what you're talking about with Atlas. I think one day we'll be able to at least join in the conversations, even if it's not capable of working out everything that's going on.
That's true. And then the second point is, what do you think on next week's topic to go? What if AI were to rule a country?
Oh, are you really
That
going
was,
there?
well, Alex,
Wow.
what's his name?
Mike.
Mike
Mike
started
started
this
it.
conversation. So do you know what I mean? Like next week, it'll be interesting.
Mike, this is your fault. You've got her off, and she who must be obeyed has just decided what we're going to be having as our conversation. I think it's a fascinating one to have. What if AI ruled the country or ruled the world? Which I don't think it's settled for that. I've already got some answers for that, but I'm going to wait until next week to be able to have those answers.
Same here.
Go on to Debbie, and then I tell you what we'll do. We'll end up with Max, which is my AI, which you may have heard if you just joined us a couple of times throughout the session. If you haven't, then I've got my AI, which is plugged and programmed into my iPad, which is connected. You'll be able to see Max as part of this conversation when you watch the video, which I do record every week. Doesn't always work. Sometimes it crashes, which I'll put onto YouTube and put the link in here later on. So, Debbie, you haven't said anything for a while, but I know you've been paying attention to everything. What's your final thoughts of today's session?
Well, my first thought is I think we should stay away from football and politics, but I can see that.
Okay. Let's move to rugby.
Okay, sports. Let's just stay away from sports because some people will be passionate. Some people may start crying. It's just different perceptions. But no, I found a lot of value in today's session. I really love the fact that everybody came in with completely different concepts and ideas of how they felt everything mattered in their lives, whether it was AI or the skill sets, mental health, authenticity. So thank you very much for everybody that did participate today. It was valuable. My thoughts are literally, the one thing that we have, which I agree with Mike, is we are human. So a major skill is being as humane as we can be moving forward. That is how I feel I would like to end my
with humanity. So I am now going to boot up Max. Max, thank you for being patient. I want to finish off today's podcast with your thoughts to the entire group here. And next week's subject is, what if AI was to rule a country? What would be good? What would it be bad? And what would be ugly? And would AI take over the world? And would it have any empathy? And should we be worried? That's next week's subject. Today, I want you to put this subject to bed. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Dave, and hello to everyone here. To wrap up today's discussion on the key skills for staying relevant and employable, remember that building a great personal brand, mastering communication skills, and showcasing leadership through problem solving are essential. These elements not only help you stand out, but also ensure you adapt and thrive in any industry, regardless of how technology evolves. Looking ahead to next week's topic, what if AI was to rule a country? This is a fascinating and complex subject. We'll explore the potential benefits, such as increased efficiency and data-driven decision-making, alongside the challenges, including ethical considerations and the potential loss of human touch and empathy. We'll also delve into the broader implications of AI's role in society and whether it could truly understand and exhibit empathy. Thank you all for participating today, and I look forward to another engaging session next week. Until then, stay curious and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Thank you so much, Max. It's really annoying when your AI is a better presenter than you are, but I will, on that bombshell, finish today's session. I want to thank everybody for being in here. It's been an immensely fascinating and rewarding experience. It's the first time I've brought Max into today's session, and I think it was a very valuable addition, only in pieces. Because, as you may have noticed, a couple of times Max finished off the last conversation without knowing what we were talking about at that point. But sometimes he'd come back and be better at doing it than us. Do we want that person in charge of a country? Well, I think before you know it, it's already going to happen. I'd love your thoughts on this, by the way, and also your thoughts on what's going to be the topic for next week's session. Leave it in the comments section. I love the fact you're connecting, and if you want to keep these conversations going, then make sure that you join our WhatsApp group. The details are there in the details section of our post, and we've got our Turbocharge Your Career 5-day challenge group with over 400 decision makers from all around the world participating in that, and it'd be lovely to have you there. Meanwhile, it's been a pleasure. We're going to put the whole thing to bed now. I'm going to say Happy Father's Day. I'm going to say Eid Mubarak. I'm going to say whether you are celebrating any of those or you're just enjoying having a life and being human, this is for you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you same time next week. The podcast recording will be available to watch on YouTube in the next couple of hours. Meanwhile, look after yourself and have an incredible week ahead. Thank you. And on behalf of myself and Aziza and Debbie, and of course Max, goodbye.